ready? Diane? Okay. First item of business today for the Drainage Board is the minutes that were sent via email. Any alteration or correction? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion, and I have a second. It is me. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
2-0. Jared, right to you.
Good afternoon. You should have in front of you kind of the legislative bills that I'm tracking a little bit. House Bill 1126, which affects the Multnomah River Basin Commission. That's the one that we've talked about numerous times. Passed both houses, and I believe is on its way to the governor's desk to be signed into law. What that would do is allow, it doesn't require, but it would allow the Multnomah River Basin Commission to change their format and become what is known as a watershed development commission. If at whatever point we see fit to do that, it would take county commissioners' approval in every county that's serviced by the MRDC. It would take a unanimous, every county adopting the ordinance to actually do that. So it's not a board decision. It's not a MRDC board decision. Every county commissioner group in every county would have to approve that to happen. So there's guardrails there.
How many counties are actually in it? 8 or 9?
Six.
Six, okay.
So I think we are the second largest river basin commission. I think the Kankakee is the largest in the state. Number of counties.
Right, gotcha.
We're the second largest. So sounds like that bill is headed to the governor's desk. House Bill 1037. This one actually had a committee hearing earlier today. I was not able to watch it. It was amended. Basically, the amendment, as I read it, if you're working on a site that is less than 1 acre, local jurisdiction would not be able to regulate that. But if there's a erosion problem or a dust problem, they would be able to give them a warning if they don't rectify it within 48 hours, I think it was, is what the amendment stated. Then you could issue stop work order. You could do other things if they're not doing things to mitigate erosion, that sort of thing. So locally, we don't regulate over 1 acre anyway when it comes to that, so it's not going to have a big effect on us. But we kind of dodged a bullet on being an MS4 after when the last census happened. Could happen next time around.
The county could be an MS4?
The county could become an MS4 sometime after 2030. So
Based on the new language?
no.
Based
So
on-
then this would have an effect. Is then you would have to do a stormwater ordinance, you do all that stuff. That's where they usually regulate things in the stormwater ordinance to less than that 1 acre standard. So could have an effect on us later on down the road. And then House Bill 1460 that deals with more with the flood zone mapping and that sort of thing, and regulations that you have to follow for those. That bill was amended when it was on the Senate side. The House dissented from those amendments, so it's going to conference committee, and who knows what will happen when it comes out of that.
And if it doesn't happen this week, it doesn't happen, right?
This 2 weeks, right?
I think
2 weeks.
has to get out of committee this week. I think
Next week, and then,
So
okay,
it's,
gotcha.
it was sailing along, and then it kind of got bogged down, so I think there's enough issues with the bill. I don't know that it's going to pass. I take issue with, they would force you to use only the FEMA 100-year flood zone maps for regulation. And just from experience for 20-some years, those are not always gospel.
Mm-hmm.
They are not always the most accurate maps, both directions. Some of them show flood zone where it doesn't exist, some of them shows areas that are not inside the flood zone, they truly are. It's probably the worst map that you could possibly use, but that's the force you to use. So,
Briefly on the floodplain, there was last fall, Mike was doing a redo with different properties. Is that done and over with, or is it still under consideration?
So, Christopher Burke Engineering,
Right.
everywhere that there was a property, a residence, that the flood zone map was changing. They looked at all of those. I don't know what the end result of all of those were. That all got sent into FEMA for review and modification of maps, if there was a change warranted. I haven't heard anything recently on when our actual adoption may be.
Okay. I just had a property and I haven't heard anything. So,
It's been radio silence on it.
okay, thank you.
I know it got sent in to FEMA for review, but I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
So last meeting, we had some discussion about the maintenance work contracts and taking quotes. Ted and I worked on some language, kind of a, I'll say a fill-in-the-blank boilerplate type contract, and we sent out requests for quotes for time and materials for a lot of our emergency type repairs. Basically, what kind of equipment, what the make and model, so we kind of have a size idea of what type of equipment, and then a rate per hour, and then like materials, they would only be able to mark up 15% if they buy the materials. So that kind of limits that. We sent those out late or midweek last week. Those all went out to the contractors. Hopefully we will have all of them to award at our next meeting. I think there was 21 contractors that we sent information to or sent a request for a proposal. We've probably gotten 4 or 5 of them back already, 5 today. 5 back already, so everybody seems to be, agreeable to doing it this way. So at our next meeting, we will have multiple, and I guess what I'm assuming is that we will probably treat it somewhat like they did with the stone bids at the highway department. We'll accept a number, all of them, and then it's, quickest, cheapest, closest, most responsive, however.
Sure.
That we'll keep doing things like that, but we'll make sure that we're trying to stay as cost effective as we possibly can. Is that the best way to say it? Okay.
Works for me.
So, and we were able to get it down to where it was only like 3 pages long instead of 27. Ongoing projects, don't really have any updates on any of those right now. Weather has not been cooperative on several of them. So, and then we never received the application, so NIPSCO is doing a gas line relocation up on the Newton Chalfant tile. It's right at the end of the open ditch on State Road 1, just north of Austin. They had got through all of their process. Were ready to actually start doing that relocation, and their environmental permitting group figured out that they had never gotten a permit. So I thought we would have it back. We sent them all the information. I thought we would have it back today, so that we could approve it today. We haven't got that, so we'll have to hopefully have that for 2 weeks. While we were having that discussion, there was a project south of town. I can't tell you the name of the drain. It's out by the New Holland dealer, the Ashburger tile. They had already done their relocates out there, and so we're probably going to have an after-the-fact permit to issue on that when it's already done. But there is some drainage concerns out there before the really big rain came through. There was some water standing that wasn't typical. And so we're wanting to verify, I think NIPSCO is actually going to help dig up at the tile where they crossed it and make sure that they didn't hit it. If they did hit it, they're going to rebore and redo their line. So I told them to wait on filling out the permit application until we figure out what we need to do for sure. So there was at least 2 and maybe 3 utilities that got relocated out there, and we're not sure which one of them might have clipped the tile. But it appears that there's a problem there, so we're trying to eliminate. NIPSCO's the only one that reached out that said, hey, we forgot to get a permit. We need to do something. The other 2 utilities haven't reached out yet. So.
If it was cable TV and it was the night of the NCAA, people would have known it.
Yeah. It's the Craven tile. Yeah, Craven tile. They're at New Holland.
Sorry.
Nope. So that's all I have. 5 inches of rain in a week is a little bit too much.
Or tomorrow. Shh.
All right, that
As long as
means,
it doesn't
that
come
means
at
no
2 inches an hour.
softball games, right?
As long as we don't get rain at like 2 inches an hour.
Yeah. Hey, anything for the drainage board?
Possibly. This is the first one of these that has come across my desk. So this was in regards to a utility permit that I was planning on discussing at our next meeting. But this is consent for to cross a drainage easement.
Oh, these things are like
Well, I mean, yes and no. I have my form for the utility, but they sent this as well.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I'm supposed to present this at this meeting so that you can sign it or,
Let me guess, it's from Citizens
oh
Telephone.
yeah.
Half the time you'll get ours, and the other half the time we'll get yours.
Okay, so this was just supposed to go to you.
Yeah, yeah.
That was easy.
Glad I could help with that.
Love it.
Assuming that this is the one, is this the one out on 900 South?
I mean, I've got 3 of them, I can tell you that.
I'm assuming it's the one on
200
900
west
South.
and 700 south. Markley Drain. Charles Markley.
Charles Markley Drain.
Did they send a check too?
Not to me.
Okay.
Or us?
Yeah, we haven't got one either. Have they already done it though, in that area?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
You mean have they already performed work in that?
Yeah,
area?
that's,
So, I
Well,
think
that too, but
I
the
think
permit too.
there are existing
Easement.
handholds in that area, so I think they can perform work. This is kind of strange, but since we're discussing it, citizens called me and asked if they needed to submit utility permits to do work. They were originally going to pull fiber lines through existing conduit and found out it was too full to do so. So they were gonna run new conduits, but like in the same vicinity, and I said, I think you should give us a permit. That way we have documentation of when it was done and that there's more than just one
yeah,
utility.
that was done then, this is done now. Dates are different.
So there very well may be a duct at this location already. But they also did not tell me it was gonna be 3 permits. I thought it was gonna be like a 1 mile stretch, so I don't know if that's all 3 of these. They already have facilities or.
Is that the
Oh,
card
it's a
stick?
Bob, it's a Bob Pribble's. Just trying to get. Okay. So they're boring under the Markley ditch. Okay. Keystone Road, north of 700 South.
I don't think we have. No.
I don't think we've ever done it. So, I guess, having worked with Citizens Telephone numbers of times, they've always been very accommodating, I guess. That even though it wasn't on the agenda, I would recommend it for approval. With, once the fee is paid, it will.
Should we fee or?
I would say we'll get
You could approve it.
it
Subject.
contingent on,
All right, so make a motion to approve the citizen telephone easement or permit once it's paid in full to go under the market.
it's the Markley open ditch.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
2-0.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you got.
Did you have more?
We used to always get yours.
Yeah.
I mean, for the commissioners meeting, not for the drainage board.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we always used to get yours.
Yeah.
Diane, anything? Drainage board?
Thank you.
No, sir. No, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. We're done. Thank you.